welcome to the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch. And once again, we're back again with a new person to talk to here in the studio. Someone interesting that I find interesting, that I think you will find interesting as well. And I'm joined here by a gentleman named Tony Grant from A&K Community Hub. How you doing, Tony?
I'm cool, Chase. How are you?
Ooh, look at it. He says, I'm cool, Chase. You know, the first time someone said I'm cool, Chase, right, Phil?
You're not the only cool cat around here, dude.
I know. Exactly. He is definitely a cool cat and stuff like that. You know, I mean, Tony has an extensive background. I mean, like, you know, we're going to go into his origin story more than we usually do. But for now, just in overall general, what you're doing now, A&K Community Hub. Can you tell us what A&K Community Hub is?
So the community hub really started, Chase, as a school provision to support schools and to support the kids who are finding mainstream education just not for them or too tough, you know, disengaged with learning in a way and finding the bed more comfortable than getting out of it.
Yeah.
So
kind of like what they call neats, right?
Well, yeah, you know, kids who just aren't in education, you know, it's a problem, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
I got into conversation a couple of years ago with someone from the Wirral Council. My background's football, and there was no, you know, most kids like football, and on the Wirral there was no sort of provision that was using football as a vehicle. So me and the K in A&K is a guy called Kevin Kirby. Me and Kevin decided to open up a small provision to try and support these youngsters, in which we did, and we opened it up in Birkenhead.
So what's the age range?
11 to 16.
11 to 16. Well, still is where you started off with these young people,
Yeah.
and everything. You were running this kind of program with them for, I believe, for some time and everything, and you decided to expand into the community thing. Yeah.
So what happened, Chase, was, you know, the school provision's still going, and it's still supporting a number of youngsters who are disengaged in education. You know, we are really trying to get the basic needs met, which is getting out of bed, you know, and then saying thank you and saying please and having some manners, and then growing. And once the kids become safe and they trust us, we can grow into education. But the basic needs have to be met, you know, feeding, getting fed, watered, and trying to enjoy life rather than wasting your time. So that took me on a journey where I got to meet the overall family, and the opportunity then came around to purchase a old church, or a parish centre, which was in Birkenhead, which I did. Originally, I thought I was going to put the youngsters upstairs in the church as a classroom, but then the need for the other sector of the community to have space became just as needy. Without,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You're dealing with all ages. It's not
Correct,
just young people. So I mean, each idea becomes another idea, doesn't it? So once you got the venue, now you're like, now we could cater to people of all ages and stuff. What kind of activities do you think you're doing with all these other people?
So we kept the school separate because it wasn't fair on the kids who we were trying to help being around so many other different types of people who they maybe not wanting to be around, and plus the people we were supporting in the community, they wanted their own space, so we kept it separate. But right now, the community hub, which is the old parish, you know, that serves young tots, so young little babies and mums, and everything's free. It serves, we have a huge deaf society. You know, every Tuesday we have from 60 to 100 deaf people all at once who come and spend the whole day there, and it becomes their place. The community hub, when I opened it, I wanted the people to take ownership of it who were using it. I wanted them to respect it the way they would respect their own property, rather than us being owners or, you know, whatever. But everyone who comes in actually treats it as if it is theirs, and it's so nice to see. They feel confident enough to ask questions, to walk around, whatever. And it's such a nice feel. Everyone says when they go in, they have such a nice feeling. We have a men's well-being group in there. They're in there once a week. We support pensioners. I was just saying to Roy before, wasn't I, about we had a day trip out on the weekend just gone. Now that's only been open. It's only been open a year. Chase our hub, and I'd done a day out because I wanted to get the community to go out somewhere and see somewhere else, and we'll put the transport on. We'll do all the ins and outs. You just go and enjoy yourselves. And I took them to Land's End now about 5 months ago.
Wow!
And there was about 34 people, and they all had a lovely time. So it helps with loneliness and all that type of stuff. Well, they enjoyed themselves so much that I done another one for Christmas, well, end of November, and I took them to Berry Market, and there was 120.
Wow.
So the growth is frightening. People are enjoying coming. And using my eyes of what I see since I've opened it, loneliness is a big killer. And having a place where you can go and speak and feel safe is key.
No, I mean, you know, that definitely is a good benchmark of looking at loneliness as one of your provisions. But one of the main keys, I believe you said, in starting such a group or just even the football provision was because you felt that there were no role models.
Yeah, I think my background, Chase, I've been a footballer for, there's two big clubs in this city. I was lucky enough to play for the blue half of the city. Made my debut when I was 19. I was there till I was 26. Spent a lot of time with great people, great coaches, great footballers. And then I've obviously had my career as a footballer in other clubs, and then as a coach. And I feel as though, I am a role model. How I behave, I joined Twitter. I always use this. I joined Twitter years ago. It's now X, isn't it? I've never ever swore on it.
Right.
So if anyone could actually go through all my text, I've never ever swore because I believe certain things you don't need to. So I feel as though there's nothing wrong in it. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying each man's to himself. But as far as being a role model to some of these kids, I think it's important, and that's what when I set out to school, that was one of the reasons I'd done it, is to be that role model. And also the staff who were brought in, I brought in ex-players who played at different clubs for them to be future role models, in which some of them already are.
And it does help, doesn't it? I mean, even though I was saying I was going to get to it, Tony kind of jumped me, with your origin story. But, I mean, pretty much, you said you played for Everton. We can say it. It's all good. It's all good. We can say it. Played for Everton for about 10 years. And then
my dad was born not far from here.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so my dad was a big blue. So he'd have been made up if he was still here to see the new stadium, wouldn't he?
I know the hell
right over
say, yeah, I know. It looks like a big spaceport.
Yeah, so my dad was a big blue, which in this city you normally follow your parents.
Yeah,
whoever
of
they
course.
support, you support, because they take you to the match, don't they?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. They put you in those cute little outfits.
Yeah, so he took me to Everton, and at the time he took me to Everton, we were very good. We were probably the best team in the land, not in the city.
Is it Graham Sharp? Or
Yeah, in the 80s. So that was that done. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I got stuck with Birmingham, mate. That was my face.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. But I mean, reason why I mentioned about retiring at 32, I mean, a lot of guys still try to stick it out longer, don't they?
Yeah, I think the education was a bit different them days. Lads nowadays, just the era just after me started being more professional. We were professional to a point, but I dropped out. I got injured quite often in my career, and by the time I was 31, 32, I had it was found it hard playing football. I mean, it was quite sore. My ankles were they weren't great. So I made a decision. I had the opportunity to go into development coaching at Blackburn Rovers, and either carry on, because at this time I'm at Chester now, so I've come down the leagues now, and I'm not really enjoying my football.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to go and become a coach, and that's what I done. I went straight into being an under-16 coach at Blackburn Rovers.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I
And
loved
stuff.
it.
How long were you doing that for?
Well, I was 16, so a few months, then I became the under-18 coach. And I was at the under-18 coach for a couple of years, and then I became a first-team coach at Blackburn. So I sort of went up the ladders really quick. And then I stayed at Blackburn Rovers as a first-team coach for probably about 3.5 years.
Wow.
And then I went to Blackpool as a coach. Then I went to Brisbane Roar over in Australia as a coach.
Mm.
And then, it took, I've been in different countries. Coaching took me to different parts of the world. Or should I say footballers in general.
More so than if you're just paying for one team that is just only going to go around the states and stuff like that. And I didn't mean the states. I meant the different areas that they're not going to go and play over across the seas, are they?
Those one team footballers are very rare these days.
Very rare.
No, very rarely. So I mean, as far as like success stories, there, Tony, you were saying like you had a couple of success stories, but can you tell me a bit about being unregistered, because I thought that was interesting.
So was the school provision is registered and is unregistered. We're an unregistered alternative provision. We're there to support schools and support kids in general and support the families, I suppose, from a distance. Registered can be commissioned by the council, almost like a school,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to follow a certain curriculum. And the problem with a lot of the kids is they don't want to follow a curriculum.
Right.
But then it becomes a debate of education then. Where are they going to get their education from? Which is a great debate to have, right? It might not be for here, but it's a great debate to have. But we've got a number of kids who have been excluded from school, found themselves in a registered alternate provision, but they won't turn up. So they're still not, the needs aren't getting met at all. And then they get to 16 and the GCSEs fail. This is even in the registered. And they become neat. And what we're saying, what we're about is, well, come to us and we'll give you the well-being. We'll sort of look after your mental state. And on that journey, we might be able then to actually support you in talking about education or getting into education. Do you know what I mean? It's like You can bring a horse to water, you know what I mean? And some of these kids, they need a different type of look at it.
Yeah, but I think that's what's important to get across here, is that what your community hub does in this aspect, working with NEETs in this unregistered kind of capacity, is the fact that you're allowing them the opportunity that they probably wouldn't take if forced upon them in the usual systematic way that they've been forced upon.
That's right.
And so, like, your organization allows for them to have another option to kind of like still achieve their aims and goals.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the case?
Definitely.
And that does sound like a good success story.
And you know what? If you lie in bed all day, zero opportunities will come to you.
Yeah.
Right. If you get out of bed and you just take that step forward and go into a different place, you don't realise what opportunities can manifest in them places. You don't really. But you've got to get out. So our job is not to vilify these kids because they don't like education. It's to sort of meet their needs. Because we've got a little bit more wisdom on that journey, some part of that journey, we will get into education, or we might do it in a different way. But we have time, because where we sit, we have small numbers, so we have small number of children in classrooms, and they get so much of us. Whereas I suppose in some schools,
it's like about 20, 30 kids,
So,
and I mean, but I think also what's important is like what you're saying is that like, it's the option for them to do so within a more relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah.
See, I would bring up a TV show right about now, but Phil will always go, nobody knows what that show is, Chase. You know what I'm saying? But I would bring up a show like Welcome Back, Kotter. You know what I mean?
Okay, when was that on then?
In the 70s. All right. Do you know it?
No.
Anyway.
Of course he doesn't.
No.
That's the first show with John Travolta.
But I do know it. I do know Coach Carter.
Yeah, Coach Carter. Yeah. That's Samuel Jackson. Yeah, exactly.
There's a place for there's a place for Coach Carter in the world.
Yeah, well, exactly, man.
Yeah.
You know, Phil.
I love it.
All right, so funding is always the important thing when it comes to this, because you sound like a man who definitely believes in people and has set out, you know, who had a good partner in Kevin to be able to, because as you say, Kevin handles like the safeguarding, the admin, that kind of stuff. You were like kind of like boots on the ground and everything else like that. But organizations like yours still need funding, because you're not a charity, are you?
No, and we're only new, really.
Right.
The school, the provision, how they get funding is through, because we support kids who go to school.
Mm-hmm.
We get the funding through the schools
Yeah.
per child. And,
Yeah.
because we're not commissioned, you never know when that's going to happen. So what we've done previously is private funding from myself has kept us going until funding comes in.
That's what I'm trying to say is like self-funding. A person can only do but so much. You mentioned that you do happen to have a particular sponsor that's been helping out, which is Caden's Gas.
Yeah, so the hub.
Want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, Caden Gas have been fantastic. They have an initiative, Centres of Warmth, which is what we are, and the Centres of Warmth program supports.
You mean the warm spaces?
The warm spaces, yeah. It supports so many people in the community, from debt advice and money management to a warm space and fighting loneliness and many more things, really. As I said, the pensioners' day, so many more things. Caden's support and what they give back to communities up and down the country is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And without them, so many communities would be probably struggling.
Yeah. And everything. So that being said, I mean, because your organization is new, basically you're saying that been around for about 2 years.
Yeah.
You bought a church pretty much a year ago, right, to create the venue, so that way there's a solid foundation. But as we all know who are involved in community funding, you have to be kind of like in existence for about 3 years before you can actually start tapping into that government money, So, I mean, until then, I mean, this is coming up for you probably, but, you can always get support from people who can recognize, you know what, this is an important project. It's helping my kids. It's helping keep them in school. It's helping, as you said, about motivating, around where playing football. It's helping in all of that. I don't, we haven't really said where this is taking place. You know that, Phil?
Yes.
Thanks, Phil, for reminding me. So, Birkenhead, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah.
Even though you're from
I'm from
Liverpool.
this end, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
tell us where is the community hub?
So I moved over to the Wirral about over 20 years ago with my wife, and so I've been based over there for a number of years. And when I decided to start the provision, it was always going to be on the Wirral, and that's where I met the guy from the
Wirral
Council. So it was always going to be on the Wirral, and it's always going to be in a place that probably needs some support. And I couldn't find a property, and in the end I found a property in Birkenhead to run a provision where we can make a difference. And then the church happens to be opposite where I first started, so that's the reason I'm in Birkenhead. And I'm part of the furniture now. There's all the punters who come in, all the people who come in all know me.
Yeah.
I've had a good friend of mine, Robbie Fowler. He's been in many a time to have photographs and say hello, and they all love him. We've brought something to the area. We've tried to make the place a nicer place, so the people who are utilising it can see that we're actually spending the right money for them.
Yeah.
So it's not a nice. It is a nice place to go to. But that's where we are with Birkenhead.
It's also important for the community because, like, your ethos is we're doing this for the community.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're putting out our own money right now, but we're doing this for the community, and what we need is for the community to stand up on its own as well. You know, in support of an organization like this, because you like to hit your 3-year mark to be able to, you know, even go further, because that was what the dream was anyway, wasn't it? Is to see these kids thrive and believe in themselves and stuff.
Yeah, we've had some. We talk about funding. We've had some people who are involved in businesses. I mean, we get funded in different ways. We have
corporates,
Jackson Lee's solicitors. They fund us by giving us access to some of their staff.
Yeah.
So we get their staff who come in and service our community free of charge. I think it's once a month they come in. You know, but I've had other private donors who have used their network to raise money because of all the people we're supporting, just basically giving us their money to support the people. So we've had golf days, and we've only had one because we're only new, but we will have more golf days. So we'll always try and do private.
You notice that smile on his face when he said golf days?
Yeah.
Golf days, yeah.
I know, right? He's looking forward to the golf days.
Well, all footballers play golf, mate. I mean, that's just...
Oh, that sounds, no, I don't know. You made that up. All right, so coming up for you... All right, coming up for you, Tony, it's not really like a list of activities or anything like that, because people can find that when they go to your website when we put that up there. But what I was just trying to say is that what I noticed is that what the different events that you have running, like running them weekly, like you just said about your Deaf Society kind of thing. But I think what I want to know most is your pensioner disco, because Phil needs a date. I heard you have a pensioner disco coming up.
We do.
Okay, I need a date, but
so what we have coming up, Chase, right, is it's almost set. A lot of the stuff we do is set. You know, people know what's coming on is happening weeks in advance. You know, we do have a kids' Christmas party coming up, and we have been lucky enough to save money each week through our community. It's them who've been saving it. We keep it, but they're the ones who've been giving it. Nice, and that's going to give a good number of kids a brilliant toy at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, apart from stuff like that, we do have like today, funny enough, tomorrow the Deaf Society are having a big party tomorrow. So there's a big party on there for them tomorrow. We've had the men's wellbeing group, we have mum and tots, we have the pensioners. But that's all to do with the hub. The school is an important one, what's coming up, because there's a big project that's going to be coming to the Will.
Oh, here we go.
And it's going to become an Oasis Whittle site.
Nice.
And it's going to be basically a village being formed, a village of support is basically what it's going to become. And sitting on this village is going to be a number of charities, employability, provisions, things that are going to be on site to support everyone's needs, but it's all on one site. And also for charities to support each other and CICs to support each other. You know, we go into a world of funding these days. Us joined up together makes us more stronger than working on our own.
Yeah.
So soon, coming to the Wirral will be an Oasis village, and it's going to be quite exciting. Maybe next September this will all happen, but it's going to be quite exciting because Oasis, run by the great Steve Chalk, is a fantastic name to be associated with, and I'm looking forward to see how this all works out.
Nice one. Yeah, exciting times, definitely. You know, so how can people find you there, Steve? Tony. Why'd I call him Steve? right, Tony, how can people find you, Tony?
Yeah, so our website can be shown for the school on Facebook. So for the provision, if anyone's looking for a provision for their child,
That's right.
A&K Football Education CIC is on our website's there live to get in touch with us. You know, if anyone's got a child who's just not going to school and needs some intervention, then, you know, seek us out. The Community Hub, which is based in Birkenhead, Facebook seems to be the best place for the community to find you. So we are A&K Community Hub on Facebook.
And the website is one of those long names you were saying.
No, well, I think I just looked at it. It's Football Education CIC.
Football Education CIC.
That's it.
So you could always do it like
A&K.
this. Yeah, it's like this because it'll be on the end with it.
We'll label it,
Yeah. Football Education CSC. So I mean, listen, Tony. I mean, this has been great talking to you about what's going on, because I really love hearing about these stories of people doing something for the community. But this one really sounds very personal because, you know, like usually like people have like, as you say, like a village behind them, you know, and trying to put something together and everything, and you're like kind of like one guy joined by another guy, you know, and then a couple of other people, you know, and you're putting this thing together, and it's fantastic.
That's right.
Well done.
Thank you, Chase.
Well, no, thank you.
It's coming from the right place, isn't it, for Chase?
Well, no, that's exactly right there, Tony. So if you want to find out more about what is on offer at the Community Hub, like I said, when you go into the website, you get a whole list of different things that is coming up, because they're doing things at a weekly basis on you.
Yeah.
You know, from the men's group to the deaf group and everything. But you know what? He hasn't said when that pension disco is.
It's on Wednesday, and you're more than welcome to come.
Wait, this week?
Yeah.
No short notice.
What time?
No short notice.
Is it an early one so you'll get back?
It's 1 o'clock or 12:30.
Yeah, that's cool. You know what pensions there too late.
We'll feed you.
We'll feed you.
Yeah.
You know, Tony, I mean, why do the show if I can't get anything out of
You're
it?
not going to get better off than that, mate.
No, I'm not going to get a better offer. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Tony Grant and everything from the A&K Community Hub. And I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch. And, hey, maybe, you know, something happened for me this week. Who knows? But for now, you know, we out here.